It's been nearly a year since the Israel-Hamas war erupted in October 2023, and the shockwaves are still being felt far beyond the Middle East. Graphic images and reports coming out of Gaza, stories of destruction, haunting photos of injured children, desperate families, have flooded the internet and media. For American Jews, and especially for rabbis across the US, these images have become a daily test of conscience and faith. Let's set the stage. As of July 2024, the conflict has taken a staggering human toll. Over 38,000 Palestinians have died, according to Gaza's health ministry. More than 1,200 Israelis were killed, mostly during the initial Hamas attack. In Gaza, destruction is everywhere. Homes flattened, people displaced, and basic necessities like food and medicine running dangerously low. It's a humanitarian crisis, and the pain is impossible to ignore. Now imagine being a rabbi in this moment. I talk to people every week who are grieving, angry, confused. On one hand, there's a deep connection to Israel, concern for loved ones, for the safety of the Jewish state, the memory of centuries of persecution. On the other, a flood of images showing Palestinian civilians, men, women, kids, caught in the crossfire. The moral questions are relentless. Rabbis are feeling this weight in their bones. Many of the rabbis I've heard from are torn. How do you support Israel's right to defend itself? While not ignoring the suffering of innocent people, congregants want answers. Some demand strong support for Israel, others want public calls for a ceasefire or even criticism of Israeli military actions. And here's the thing, no matter what a rabbi says, someone feels betrayed, someone feels let down. The pressure is intense. So how are rabbis responding? For some, the pulpit is a place to pray for peace and the safety of everyone, Israeli and Palestinian, without diving into politics. Others are more outspoken. They call out the Israeli government, demand restraint, and urge for a ceasefire, even if it means facing backlash from within their own communities. And many are stepping outside the synagogue, joining interfaith vigils, hosting forums, and creating spaces for hard, honest conversation. The goal? Understanding, not division. But the struggle is personal too. Rabbis describe sleepless nights, emotional exhaustion, and a heavy sense of duty. They see the pain, on TV, on social media, in the eyes of their congregants, and they carry it with them. At the same time, this crisis has brought people together. More folks are showing up at services, reaching out to their rabbis, looking for comfort and clarity in a time that feels anything but clear. This debate isn't just happening in sermons. Synagogue communities are wrestling with deep questions. What does it mean to stand with Israel? How do we honor our values of justice and compassion in the face of war? The conflict has deepened some divisions, but it's also sparked honest dialogue and, in some cases, new solidarity. Meanwhile, Jewish organizations and leaders across the U.S. are making their voices heard. Some are rallying in support of Israel. Others are calling for humanitarian aid and restraint. The debates about proportionality, civilian harm, and the ethics of warfare are ongoing. And they're not getting any simpler. What stands out is the role of rabbis in this moment. They're guiding their communities through moral uncertainty, balancing empathy for all victims with the ethical imperatives of their faith. And as the war's realities keep shifting, so do the conversations from the pulpit. In the end, there are no easy answers here. Just a commitment to wrestle with the hardest questions, to hold space for grief and hope, and to keep searching for a path forward together.